Listen to me carefully and listen with all your heart. For what I am about to tell you is not ordinary, and it is not to be taken lightly. There is a power at work in your life, a power that has just been waiting for the moment you choose to obey God fully, completely without hesitation. I want you to hear me right now. Do not text them back until you see this message. Do not act out of impulse. Do not allow your emotions, your pride, or the restless thoughts of your mind to control the timing of your response. There is a divine purpose hidden in every pause, every delay, every moment of waiting. God is speaking to you through this pause. And if you rush, if you respond without discerning the moment He has prepared, you may miss the blessing, the lesson, the breakthrough that He has orchestrated for your life. I know it is tempting. I know that burning in your heart is the desire to reply, to speak, to clarify, to fix, to claim your right, to assert yourself. But let me tell you something today with the authority of one who has seen countless lives transformed by obedience. God's timing is never late, but your impatience can make you late for the very miracle He has prepared. Every word you send carries weight. Every message you reply to is not just communication. It is a seed, and God is the master gardener. He knows when that seed will grow, when it will bear fruit, when it will bring blessing or destruction. If you text before the appointed time, you may water the wrong soil. You may awaken the wrong spirit. You may stir the wrong consequence. I speak to the young, the weary, the hopeful, the broken, and the ambitious alike. God is speaking to you today through these words. Do not underestimate the power of restraint. Do not think that waiting is weakness. Waiting is not hesitation. Waiting is not fear. Waiting is obedience. Waiting is a weapon in your spiritual arsenal. When you hold back your reply, when you do not give in to the impulse of your flesh, you are exercising authority over your life. You are declaring to God and to the world that you will not be manipulated by circumstances, by emotions, or by the urgencies of men. You are standing on holy ground, and on that ground, God will move on your behalf. Understand this truth. Your words have power, but your timing gives those words authority. A text sent too soon can ignite chaos. A response given in the flesh rather than in the spirit can bring confusion, heartbreak, and regret. But the message sent at the right time in alignment with God's guidance has blessing, clarity, and favor. The difference is not in what you say. It is in when you say it, and more importantly, in why you say it. When God speaks to your heart to wait, it is not a restriction. It is a revelation. He is not holding you back. He is holding you up. He is protecting your future, your peace, your joy, your destiny. Have you ever noticed that the greatest victories in life come after the most disciplined moments of restraint? The greatest breakthroughs are never hurried. They are born in the stillness of obedience. I have seen men and women who leaped too soon, who answered too quickly, who surrendered to the impulse of the moment, and the very thing they wanted to gain became their trap. But I have also seen lives transformed when a simple pause was honored, when a moment of waiting was embraced as sacred. God is calling you to that sacred pause today. This is your divine appointment. Do not text them back until you see this message, because what God is preparing for you is far greater than what your mind can comprehend. I hear your thoughts. You are thinking, what if I miss my chance? What if they move on? What if the opportunity is gone? Let me remind you, God is the keeper of every opportunity, the protector of every blessing, the commander of every circumstance. If He has placed someone, something, or some opportunity in your path, it will not pass you by because of a pause. Your obedience to wait does not limit God's plan. It multiplies it. In fact, every moment you resist the urge to respond immediately is a moment where God is preparing the soil of your life, aligning the forces of heaven, and creating a situation far more favorable than anything your immediate reply could achieve. You must understand that your impulsive replies come from the flesh, from your mind, from your wounded pride, from the fear of missing out. But God is calling you to rise above your feelings, to rise above the whispers of anxiety and uncertainty. He is calling you to speak only when His timing is perfect. And how do you know His timing? You look for the peace in your spirit that surpasses all understanding. You wait for the clarity that only God can give. You recognize that the wisdom of God is not found in your thoughts, not in your calculations, not in the logic of the world. It is found in His still guiding voice that tells you, wait, I will show you the way. Do not confuse this with inaction. Waiting on God is not idleness. Waiting is active faith. Waiting is prayer. Waiting is alignment with the eternal purpose of the Almighty. While you wait, God is moving in ways you cannot see. He is preparing hearts, shaping circumstances, and orchestrating events so that when the moment comes, your words will carry weight. Your response will bring peace. Your message will accomplish what no human effort could achieve. You are not waiting in vain. You are waiting in victory. I want you to see the danger of responding without God's guidance. Every unguarded word, every hasty reply, every message sent in the heat of emotion can create chains that bind you to regret. Relationships that could flourish are sabotaged. Opportunities that could expand are diminished. Peace that could dwell in your heart is lost. But the one who waits, the one who obeys God's instruction to pause, to hold back, to refrain, is building a fortress of divine protection around their life. That fortress cannot be breached by human error or by worldly manipulation, for it is constructed by the hand of God Himself. Let me speak directly to those of you who have been hurt, who have been misunderstood, who have been manipulated. Do you see the pattern of your past struggles? Often the moments when you rushed, when you replied too quickly, when you surrendered to the compulsion to act, you stepped into trouble. But God is saying to you now, this time I will guard you. This time you will not fall. This time you will see my glory because you waited on me. The message you are waiting to send is not just a message. It is a declaration of God's wisdom and God's power operating through your life. When you wait, you are allowing God to elevate you above ordinary responses, above ordinary timing, above ordinary consequences. Do you hear the fire in my words? Do you feel the authority in the Spirit that comes from obedience? I am telling you, do not text them back until you see this message. Do not act according to human logic, human reasoning, human impatience. Acting to God's judgment. Listen to His guidance. Your peace is a signal of His approval. Your clarity is a confirmation of His wisdom. Your restraint is a reflection of your faith. And faith, true, unwavering faith, always honors God's timing above human impulse. You may wonder, how long must I wait? How will I know when it is right? The answer is simple. When your heart is calm, when your mind is clear, when God Himself confirms through His Spirit, through prayer, through signs, and through a deep inner knowing, do not rush, do not guess, do not act on fear or desire. Remember this, God's perfect timing always exceeds human expectation. What you think is a delay is often God preparing something beyond your comprehension. What you think that is a wait is often God orchestrating the circumstances to bless you beyond measure. Every moment you wait in obedience, is a moment you are building spiritual authority in your life. Every pause strengthens your character, refines your discernment, and deepens your faith. You are learning to trust God not just with the big things, but with the small, the ordinary, the everyday moments of life. If you cannot trust God with a message, how can you trust Him with a future? If you cannot wait for His guidance in a simple decision, how can you rely on His wisdom in the storms that will come? Every act of obedience, no matter how small, plants a seed of blessing that will grow into a harvest of favor, peace, and victory. I want you to imagine the power of restraint. Imagine sending a single message at the right time. When God has cleared every obstacle, when hearts are aligned, when opportunities are ripe, when wisdom flows from heaven, and when your words carry authority that cannot be disputed, that single act, that single moment of obedience will echo through your life. Doors will open that no one can close. Situations will shift in ways that defy logic. Relationships will heal, hearts will soften, and blessings will multiply. And all of it begins with your choice to wait. I know that it is not easy. I know that your emotions are loud, your desires are strong, your impatience is persistent. But hear me clearly. The greater the pressure to act, the greater the opportunity for God to show His power through your restraint. The louder the urge to respond, the stronger the miracle that awaits when you obey. God honors those who honor Him with their obedience, those who refuse to let the world dictate their timing, those who stand firm in the authority He has given them. Your faith, your patience, your trust in His timing is the signal to heaven that you are ready to receive what He has promised. I want you to hear me now, for God is speaking to you through these words. Every time you feel the urge to reply immediately, every time your fingers hover over the keys, every time your mind races with thoughts of what could happen if you wait, I want you to stop and recognize the voice of the flesh trying to deceive you. The flesh always wants what is convenient, what is fast, what satisfies the moment. But God calls you to a higher path, a path of discernment, patience, and divine wisdom. When you resist the impulse to act, when you choose to wait for God's confirmation, you are demonstrating something profound, that your life is not ruled by circumstances, by fear, or by desire, but by the hand of the Almighty. You are declaring that God's will is greater than your comfort, greater than your understanding, greater than the pressure of this moment. Many do not understand this, and so they rush, they react, they reply, and they suffer. They send messages that inflame conflicts, reopen old wounds, or trap them in cycles they cannot break. But you, beloved, you are not like them. You are learning to wield the authority God has given you. You are learning that every word, every act, every decision carries spiritual weight. And the Spirit of God says to you today, pause. Wait, do not reply until you have heard my guidance, until the moment is ordained by me, until your heart is aligned with my plan to obey. This is not a restriction. It is a liberation. It is a step into the power of God working through you. It is a declaration that your life is not accidental. Your words are not casual, and your destiny is not random. I want you to imagine the divine strategy God has set before you. Imagine every conversation you engage in, every message you send, every relationship in as a battlefield where the Spirit of God is moving to protect you, to guide you, to bless you. Each delayed response is not a loss. It is a tactical position. Each pause is a victory in the spiritual realm. Do not allow your impatience to hand the advantage to confusion, to misunderstanding, to chaos. Wait on God And he will turn what seems like a simple moment into a divine encounter, a transformative opportunity, a revelation that reshapes your life. Consider the wisdom that comes from restraint. The one who waits is not weak. The one who waits is strong beyond measure. Strength is not always loud or visible. Sometimes strength is quiet, unshakable, patient, unwavering. The one who does not rush their response, the one who does not surrender to impulse, is exercising authority over themselves, over circumstances, over the unseen forces that try to manipulate life's outcomes. The Spirit of God says, your obedience will build a shield around your life and your restraint. He will bring favor that cannot be earned by haste. You are not waiting for the world. You are waiting on God. You are not missing the moment. You are honoring the eternal plan. I tell you now, there are people that texting back immediately is the way to gain control, the way to assert power, the way to protect their interests. But let me reveal the truth of God's wisdom. Control is not achieved through reaction. Power is not measured by swiftness. Authority is not claimed by rushing into a response. True power, the power of the Spirit, the power of God moving in your life, comes when you stand firm, when you obey, when you trust, when you wait. You are not passive. You are active in faith. When you refrain from replying until God gives the signal, you are not idle. You are engaged in spiritual strategy. You are participating with the Almighty in crafting the outcome of your life, in shaping your future, in protecting the blessings God has set aside for you. And hear me, this is crucial. God is a God of order, not chaos. Every action, every word, every movement has a season, a purpose, and a place. The one who acts prematurely invites disorder. The one who moves impulsively invites confusion. But the one who aligns with God's timing enters into divine order, a sacred rhythm where every message, every conversation, every step is harmonized with the eternal plan. The Spirit of God says to you, do not be manipulated by the clock of the world. Do not be pressured by the urgency of human emotion. Follow my timing and you will experience what no other can see or understand. I want you to recognize that this principle extends far beyond a single message, far beyond a single conversation. It is a principle of life, a law of faith, a truth of obedience. Every aspect of your life is touched by the timing of God. Every relationship, every opportunity, every challenge. Every breakthrough is governed not by chance, not by luck, not by the quickness of your response, but by the perfect sovereign timing of the Almighty. And when you learn to wait in this small moment, when you learn to hold back your reply, to pause, to discern, you are practicing a principle that will shape your entire destiny. I see some of you thinking, but what if the person is angry? What if they misunderstand me? Let me tell you, God's wisdom surpasses human understanding. If you reply too soon, if you act before God instructs, anger may rise, misunderstanding may spread, and your words may be twisted. But if you wait, if you seek God's guidance, the Spirit will give you words that heal, words that clarify, words that bring reconciliation. The peace of God will guard your heart and guide your communication. The message you send will not only convey your intention, it will carry the authority and favor of God Himself. And this, beloved, is more powerful than any human effort or strategy. Do not be deceived by the world that says immediacy is power. Do not be fooled by the lie that speed equals success. Speed without wisdom brings regret. Haste without guidance brings confusion. Impulsivity without God invites disaster. But the one who waits on God, the one who listens, the one who prays, the one who discerns, moves with divine authority. They do not just speak, they release blessing. They do not just act, they manifest God's will. And they do not just respond, they change destinies. I want you to hear this with the clarity of your soul. Waiting on God is not passive. Waiting on God is a spiritual exercise, a battle, a demonstration of faith. Every moment you resist replying in haste, every second you honor God's timing, every thought you bring into alignment with the Spirit, you are exercising dominion over the forces of this world. You are standing in the authority God has given you, and you are declaring that your life is not subject to impulsive reaction, but to divine direction. You are stepping into power, and God Himself is your guide. And listen closely. There will be those who do not understand. There will be those who criticize, who question, who pressure, who try to manipulate you into action. But when you stand firm, when you obey God rather than the opinions of men, you are building a fortress that no criticism, no manipulation, no circumstance can breach. God honors the one who honors Him with their obedience. God protects the one who trusts Him with their timing, and God blesses the one who refuses to surrender to the pressures of the flesh. Beloved, I want you to see the beauty in disobedience. I want you to see the depth of God's wisdom operating in your life when you pause, when you wait, when you restrain yourself from replying before the appointed moment. The message you are holding back is not just a communication. It is a spiritual weapon, a seed of destiny, a key to blessings that will flow in ways you cannot yet imagine. And when God signals the right time, your message will carry the weight of heaven, the authority of the Spirit, and the favor of the Almighty. It will accomplish what no human effort could achieve. Do you feel it in your heart? Do you feel the stirring of the Spirit telling you that there is more at work than what you see? That there is a divine orchestration, a sacred design, a holy plan unfolding around you? This is not coincidence. This is not luck. This is the hand of God moving on your behalf. And the first step to participating in that movement is simple, but profound. Do not text them back until you see this message. Wait. Obey, trust, and watch God transform what seems ordinary into something extraordinary. Beloved, I want you to understand something vital. The moment you attempted to act without God's guidance is the moment the enemy of peace seeks to steal your destiny. That text you are about to send, that reply you are about to make, is not just words on a screen. It is a spiritual opportunity. And every opportunity is either aligned with God or misaligned with Him. Do you hear me? Your response has consequences far beyond what the eye can see. The choices you make in ordinary moments ripple through the spiritual realm, shaping the path of your life, influencing the hearts of others and opening doors that God has prepared, or closing doors that were meant to bring blessing. Many people fail to recognize the sacredness of restraint. They see waiting as weakness, as hesitation, as fear. But God sees it as faith. God sees it as alignment. God sees it as obedience. And I tell you today, obedience to God's timing is a power few understand. But it is a power that conquers the chaos of life. It is a power that shields you from mistakes, from misjudgment, from the storms that arise when human impulse governs decisions. Every time you pause, every time you hold reply until God directs, you are not losing. You are gaining. You are not surrendering. You are asserting the authority God has placed in your hands. You are not wasting time. You are preparing for victory. I want you to see this truth. God's wisdom is far above human wisdom. Human reasoning says respond quickly. Take control. Don't let them wait. But God's wisdom says, wait. I am preparing the hearts. I am arranging the circumstances. I am aligning the forces so that when the message is sent, it will accomplish more than you could ever imagine. How many times have you rushed in your life and later wished you had waited? How many times has impulsive action brought sorrow instead of joy, confusion instead of clarity, conflict instead of peace? These are lessons G. God wants you to learn now so that you may never repeat the same mistakes. Listen, waiting is not passive. It is active faith. Waiting is not weakness. It is strength. Waiting is not silence. It is power. There is a difference between reacting according to human impulse and responding in alignment with God's plan. The one who reacts is at the mercy of circumstance. The one who responds in God's timing is moved by divine authority. You are called to that higher path. You are called to walk the pull of immediate gratification and human urgency. You are called to honor God with every word, every message, every act of communication. I want you to consider this. Every time you send a message too soon, you risk planting seeds of confusion, misunderstanding, or even hostility. But every time you wait obedience, you are planting seeds of favor, of clarity, of peace. God's timing is a fertilized field, and the message you send in alignment with Him is the harvest. You may not see it immediately. You may feel the pressure of the moment pressing against you. You may hear voices saying, "Do not wait. Act now." But God is saying, "Hold back. Wait for my signal. I will bring order out of chaos. I will bring clarity out of confusion. I will bring blessing that exceeds your expectation." I know that some of you feel fear creeping in. The fear that if you do not respond immediately, things will be lost. Let me tell you boldly, fear is not from God. Fear tempts you to act in the flesh, to rely on your own understanding, to step outside the protection of divine timing. But God's wisdom is your shield. God's timing is your fortress. God's peace is your compass. When you wait, you are declaring that you trust in the sovereignty of God over your life. You are declaring that no human pressure, no circumstance, no relationship can dictate your obedience. And when you obey in this way, God is able to do immeasurably more than you could ever accomplish on your own. There is a lesson that reaches far beyond a simple text or message. It is a lesson about character. It is a lesson about authority. It is a lesson about walking in God's plan with integrity and discernment. You cannot claim the fullness of God's blessings while allowing human impulse to govern your life. You cannot step into divine favor while disregarding His timing. Every act of restraint strengthens your spirit, refines your character, and prepares you to receive the extraordinary. And every act of impatience weakens you, confuses the situation, and delays the manifestation of God's will in your life. Consider for a moment the people God has lifted throughout history. Those who waited, who trusted, who obeyed even when the world pressed them to act. Their victories were not the result of speed or human cunning. They were the result of obedience to the divine, the result of trusting God's timing above all else. And the same God who guided them is the same God guiding you today. The same principles apply. The same promises are available. The same power is at your disposal, and it begins with a simple act. Do not text them back until you see this message. Do not underestimate the significance of this act. It is more than a pause. It is more than a moment of self-control. It is a declaration that your life is under the authority of God, that your actions are aligned with His plan, that your words carry the weight of obedience. This pause is a spiritual discipline, a sacred exercise, and a moment of profound trust. And I tell you today, the fruit of this discipline will be greater than anything you could imagine. Peace will flood your heart. Clarity will fill your mind. Favor will surround your life. And the message you eventually send will accomplish what no hurried response ever could. I hear the questions forming in your mind. But what if the timing never comes? What if I wait and nothing happens? Listen to me carefully. God is never late. God's timing is perfect. Waiting does not mean forsaking action. It means aligning with the Almighty. What you perceive as a delay is often God's preparation. What you perceive as silence is often God arranging hearts, shaping circumstances, and opening doors. And when the appointed moment comes, everything will fall into place in a way that surpasses human understanding. That which you have longed for, that which you have prayed for, that which you have feared would be lost will be revealed in the fullness of God's plan. Beloved, this principle is not just about a message. It is about your entire life. It is about learning to trust God with every detail, every decision, every word. It is about recognizing that obedience to God, even in the smallest moments, sets the foundation for the greatest victories. The message you hold back is a microcosm of life itself. The timing of God governs the outcome, and the one who obeys is the one who triumphs. When you learn this, when you embrace this truth, you begin to walk in a rhythm with God that transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary encounters. Let me tell you something else. Impatience is the enemy of destiny. Impulsiveness is the enemy of blessing. Acting without God's guidance is the enemy of peace. And yet so many surrender to the pressure of the moment, sending messages they should have delayed, responding before God has prepared the way. But you, beloved, you are called to rise above. You are called to trust the Spirit of God. You are called to honor His timing. You are called to recognize that every word you send has eternal significance. And when you obey, when you pause, when you wait, God moves in your favor in ways that defy comprehension. Do not let fear, pride, or impatience rule you. Do not let the world dictate the rhythm of your life. Let God be the author of your timing, the guide of your steps, and the master of your words. Let Him prepare the hearts. Let Him orchestrate the circumstances, and let Him reveal the moment when your message will carry divine authority. And when that moment comes, your obedience will bear fruit beyond your imagination. Relationships will be restored, opportunities will open, peace will reign, and God's glory will be revealed in your life in ways that cannot be achieved by human effort alone. Beloved, hear me now with the fullness of your heart. For the Spirit of God is speaking to you in this moment. The time for hesitation has passed. The moment for obedience is here. Every message you have held back, every impulse you have restrained, every thought you have measured against the guidance of God has been a preparation, a refining fire, a sacred shaping of your spirit. Do not despise this pause. Do not underestimate this season of waiting. For it is in these very moments that God is teaching you the depth of trust, the power of restraint, and the authority that comes from aligning your life with the divine will. I challenge you today to examine your life. Look at the moments where you have rushed, where you have acted without discernment, where you have allowed human desire to dictate your steps. See the consequences. See the lessons and recognize the hand of God moving even in what you thought were mistakes. For God is patient and God is wise, and God's plan is not thwarted by human weakness. Every misstep can be redeemed when you turn to Him. Every impulsive act can be transformed into a testimony of faith when you surrender to His timing. And today, you are called to make a choice. A choice to honor God in your actions, to honor God in your words, to honor God in your obedience. Do not be satisfied with a shallow faith. a faith that acts according to what feels convenient or what satisfies immediate desire. Let your faith rise to its true height. Let your obedience reach its full depth. Let your life become a living testimony of God's wisdom, God's power, and God's glory. When you wait, when you trust, when you act only in alignment with God's guidance, you are not just sending a message. You are declaring a life surrendered to the Almighty, a life walking in divine authority, a life that will be blessed beyond measure. And so I call you now to take this moment seriously. Examine your words. Examine your actions. Examine your impulses. Ask yourself, am I moving in alignment with God? Or am I moving according to my own understanding? Am I responding out of fear, impatience, or pride? Or am I responding in obedience to the will of the Almighty? Let this be a turning point. Let this be a moment when your spirit rises, your heart strengthens, and your life steps fully into the power of God's guidance. Beloved, the life you desire, the peace you long for, the clarity you seek, the blessings you hope to receive, they are all available to you when you honor God with your timing, your words, your obedience. There is no shortcut, no substitute, no human effort that can replace the power of waiting on God. Every act of faith, every pause in obedience, every moment you resist, the impulse to act prematurely brings you closer to the fullness of God's plan. And when you finally move, when the message is sent, when the step is taken, it will carry the weight, the authority, and the blessing of God Himself. I urge you, therefore, to rise in faith, to stand firm in obedience, to embrace the divine discipline of restraint, to walk boldly in the knowledge that God is guiding every step, every word, every moment. Do not let fear, doubt, or impatience dictate your life. Let God's wisdom reign. Let God's timing lead. Let God's Spirit guide your words and actions. And as you do, you will experience a life transformed, a destiny fulfilled, and a peace that surpasses every human understanding. Now take this truth into your heart. Let it settle deep within your soul. Let it shape your decisions, your actions, your relationships, and your life. Stand in awe of the power of obedience. Stand in reverence of the timing of God. Stand unshakable in the authority He has given you to wait, to discern, to act in alignment with His will. And know this, beloved, when you walk in this obedience, you are walking in victory. You are walking in blessing. You are walking in the favor and power of God Himself. May your heart be strong, your spirit unwavering, and your life fully surrendered to the guidance of God. May every word you speak, every message you send, and every step you take carry His wisdom, His favor, and His not yeri. Let your faith be deep, your obedience complete, and your trust in God absolute. Rise today, beloved, and walk boldly in the life God has prepared for you. Let your life shine with the power of His Spirit. Let your words carry His authority. Let your obedience become the testimony of His greatness. Stand firm. Wait on God, obey His timing, and step into a life of blessing, clarity, and divine authority that will leave an eternal mark on your soul and the world around you.